The previous days, Venerable Sayadaw touched on the mental and physical phenomena and their conditionalities. Where we are able to see the mind and the body in terms of their individual characteristics, we can see them as they really are, and then we can see them arising and passing away in general. But these two early stages of insight are actually just seeing things as they really are, just seeing mind and body as they really are. We call Yatha Buddha Vipassana. So when we see the mind and bodies as they really are, we can overcome or reduce the illusory sense of Creator or Mahabrahma. Whether we are all created by the Creator or Mahabrahma, such a skeptical doubt or illusion will be overcome to some extent when we see mind and body as they really are, and when we see their conditionality. So Venerable Sayadaw touched on this point in brief previous day. So later Sayadaw will continue how Vipassana insight develops in detail. So when we continue with the Vipassana insight, seeing mind and body as they really are, we also see them arising and passing away in general. And this way we develop Vipassana insight, higher Vipassana insight step by step, until we can experience the Vipassana Sukha, the blissfulness we can gain from Vipassana insight. When we experience such a blissful happiness, we spontaneously develop the strong faith in the Dhamma, or our faith in the Dhamma becomes steadfast and unshakable. So Sayadaw will touch on this point in detail now. When we see mental and physical phenomena arising and passing away, we start to develop the samasana jnana, the insight into the impermanence of the mental and physical phenomena. So this is the first Vipassana insight. If we continue to develop this Vipassana insight, we can see mental and physical phenomena arising and passing away very clearly. We can focus our attention to the object. We can sustain our attention to the meditative object. And then when our mind, the moment our mind is fully focused on the meditative object, there arises satisfaction or piti or rapture or happiness. When we are able to note meditative object concurrently, the mind is fully experienced the characteristics of the mind, mental and physical phenomena. It is just like rubbing the object. It seems as if the mind is touched on the object. Thus the initial attention or vitakka or sustained attention, vichara, take place. In this way, our attention is fully focused on the meditative object. Then naturally, piti, sukha, rapture and happiness arise. Initially, the happiness or joy is just a very small and subtle, which is called pamauja, and then later it becomes stronger and more obvious, which is called piti. So when we arouse piti, rapture and happiness, there will be no room for agitation or unstable mental state or emotion. So the mind is becomes stable, tranquil, and fully focused on the object. Thus there arises the concentration known as ekaggata in Pali. So in this way, 5 jhana factors get involved in the first Vipassana insight, Samasana Jnana. When this first Vipassana insight, Samasana Jnana, the analyzing the impermanence, suffering and egolessness, which is followed by the Udayabbaya Jnana, the second insight, Vipassana insight into appearance and disappearance of mental and physical phenomena. This Vipassana insight is constituted of the 3 main jhana factors, starting from joy or happiness, and then the concentration, piti, sukha and ekaggata. Even the Samasana Jnana, the first stage of Vipassana insight, or the third stage of the insight process, we can have the remarkable experience regarding the unpleasant sensation. For example, unpleasant sensation or pain or discomfort are very horrible in the beginning. Especially for beginner yogi, they always complain about the unpleasant sensation. They find them unbearable. Actually, the unpleasant sensation or pain becomes more obvious. So it feels as if it will become bigger and worse or more severe. It's just like seeing something minute or something very little small things through the powerful microscope. We can see small things as if it were very huge and big when we see with the powerful microscope. So in the same way, with the powerful mindfulness, under the powerful contemplation, we can see unpleasant sensation or pain clearly. Then the pain, unpleasant sensation look very huge and very severe and unbearable. So in this case, the yogi sometimes may feel very disappointed about the unpleasant sensation. He may even think about running away from the center, out of the center. But being encouraged by the teacher, he trying to put his effort again into practice without caring about his life and limb, without even risking the life and limb we are encouraged to put great effort in the practice. So following this instruction, the yogis note the pain as pain with the patience and persistence. Then with the stronger concentration and mindfulness, the yogi able to see the pain as pain without identifying it as someone or anybody else. Pain is pain. There is nobody or no living being involved. He can realize pain is a phenomena, not individual person involved. Then he will find pain as pain without identifying himself or herself. Then he feel very comfortable. He feel released. He or she feel released and feel very encouraged or inspired to put great effort in the practice. He develop the faith and confidence or courage in the practice. Initially, the yogis normally imagine he can imagine whether he could ever overcome such an unpleasant sensation. But now through the Vipassana insight or Vipassana practice mature, he finds unpleasant sensation as unpleasant sensation. Then no pain or unpleasant sensation any longer bother him or her. And then his or her faith and confidence or enthusiasm becomes stronger and stronger. And he or she becomes courageous enough to face any difficulties, whatever it may be. So initially or in the beginning of the practice, it is very difficult to deal with the unpleasant sensation. But with the stronger concentration and mindfulness, the yogis become inspired and courageous. That's how he or she develop viriya, courageous effort or moral courage. So when we face any difficulty during the intensive retreat like this or any other condition, we may feel coward or we may feel discouraged from continuing something until we succeed. So when we feel disappointed, we should boost up our mental energy or our courage. It is very important to boost up our courage when we in the face of difficulties or problems. In this regard, there are three kinds of courage or courageous effort, or three stages of courageous effort. The first one is arambha dhatu, initial effort. So we have to make initial effort. For example, when we note rising, falling, or the abdomen, we have to try our best to focus our mind on the abdomen, the meditative object. That's how we start our mental energy. This kind of starting mental energy or initial effort is called arambha dhatu. It is just like nurturing as a plant in a nursery. So when we see the mind and the body as they really are, and their arising, appearance and disappearance, we reach the first, we experience the first Vipassana insight, Samasana Jnana. At this stage, we can experience so many things, especially unpleasant sensation. If we are coward, not courageous enough to face unpleasant sensation, we will be definitely disappointed. And if we are afraid of pain, or if we are afraid of the damaging to our body, if we take too much care about our body, and then we cannot overcome this problem. Such a coward people cannot overcome any problem. So we have to boost up our energy, we have to raise up our courage, we have to make great effort, sacrificing our life and limb. So in this way we can boost up our energy and effort or courage. In this way we can find the pain as pain. And then we can even find the pain is no longer bothering to us. It is just pleasant pain. Pain is felt to be pleasant. It's a kind of pleasant pain. Because we see the pain as pain without identifying as me or mine. And then pain felt as pleasant. Pain, according to the impermanence nature, the pain also subject to impermanence. In due course of time, pain will no longer bother us. Pain will no longer occur to us. And then we may find the practice is quite loose. With the pain, the practice is very intensive. And we develop courageous effort. When the pain no longer bothers us, the practice seems to become loose. And then we may even miss the pain. When there is a pain, we develop courageous effort, and the practice is very intensive, very effective. Without pain, practice seems to be loose. Now, in this stage, we can challenge the pain. We can master the pain. And then the pain will no longer bother us. However, just to master the pain or just to be able to challenge the pain is not our goal. Our spiritual goal is to eradicate all kinds of mental defilements and to experience the enlightenment or mega enlightenment. So overcoming unpleasant sensation alone is not our goal. We have to proceed up to our goal by observing whatever mental and physical phenomena obvious. So we have to make some more effort, some more courageous effort to develop higher and higher Vipassana insight. Such a higher and courageous effort is called Parakama Dhatu, the culminating effort. So in this way, we see the mental and physical phenomena in terms of their own characteristics, and we see then their conditionalities and appearance and disappearance. Then we develop the Vipassana Sukha, the blissfulness from Vipassana insight. The Buddha himself proclaimed that Yado Samasati Khandana Udiyabhaya and so on. So according to what the Buddha honored this Vipassana stage, when we see the mind and the body in terms of their own characteristics, and their appearance and disappearance, there naturally arises the piti and paṇḍitā, the subtle form of the happiness and a strong form of the happiness, piti and paṇḍitā. So when we continue with the practice, the Buddha said, we can even experience the amata, deathlessness, amatanta vijanata. Here amata means where there is no death or deathlessness. So in this stage, actually we don't really experience the amata, deathlessness. But this state can lead us straight to the experience of deathlessness, amata. So this state is very blissful, and we can experience the Vipassana pleasure at this state. On one occasion, the Buddha guaranteed the yogi can experience the celestial pleasure, amanusi vritti. The Buddha said, when the yogi approach to a secluded place and develop Vipassana insight, along with the jhana factors, and then the yogi's mind become tranquil and peaceful, because the mind is no longer emotional or agitated with the anger, hatred, or aversion, or lustful feeling. So the mind is totally tranquil and peaceful and calm. At this stage, the concentration is very strong enough to see the mental and physical phenomena arising and passing away moment by moment. The phenomena newly arise and pass away immediately, and a new phenomena again follow it, and it also disappear right away. In this way, the yogi able to see phenomena arising and passing away moment by moment. So with every noting, the yogi experience appearance and disappearance of mental and physical phenomena. Then he feels very satisfied and happy. It's just like shooting toward the target. So in the beginning, it is quite difficult to hit the target. But if we train repeatedly, we can hit the target easily. Every shooting hit the target. And then definitely the shooter will be very satisfied and very take very delight in his training. And he experience pleasure. So in the same way, every moment we note, our mind is focused on the object, and we see mental and physical phenomena clearly. They are arising and passing away moment by moment. To such a yogi, there occurs the very remarkable, unique pleasure beyond the normal human pleasure. So we call amanusi vritti, the pleasure beyond human pleasure. It's a kind of celestial blissfulness. And at the same time, yogi is able to develop the Vipassana insight step by step. It's a very unique pleasure at this state he or she can experience. It's a unique and insatiable pleasure. You cannot ignore it. It's a really insatiable, unavoidable. You experience such a unique pleasure. So very pure pleasure. This is we call Vipassana Sukha, the blissful state of Vipassana progress. We can experience at a certain stage. So to make a little bit elaboration about the Amanusi Rati, the celestial or the pleasure beyond the human pleasure. Normally, the living being on earth, or the human being, they enjoy their life with the sensual pleasure. They enjoy sensual pleasure from the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. They want to see something or someone beautiful, good looking. They even make efforts to see someone beautiful or good looking. So they are often caught by the desire for beauty or the lust for beauty. So they even make great effort to reach what they want, something or someone beautiful, doing things whether lawful or unlawful. So similarly, with the sound, smell, taste, and touch. So regarding touch, there can be normal touching or the male and female touching. These touching are also very difficult to resist. So human beings, they always enjoy, they try their best to enjoy sensual pleasure from seeing someone beautiful and or listening to a sound or music, sweet, something like this. So the human beings or living beings on earth are bound. They are not liberated and bound to the sensual object. So these sensual objects or sensual pleasure are called karma guna. Some of them desirable and some of them bind us. We are not escaped from sensual desire. We are attached to the sensual desire and we are bound to the sensual pleasure. So when we take the intensive retreat like this, sometimes we may afraid to give up such a sensual pleasure, even for a while. Although we leave all kinds of sensual pleasure behind during the intensive retreat, we have chance to experience kind of pleasure or bliss, even beyond such a sensual pleasure we can imagine. So sensual pleasure always bind us, or we are bound to the sensual pleasure. Our mind is bound to sensual pleasure. And mind is tortured by the sensual pleasure. But this Vipassana pleasure is quite pure and pleasant and blissful. The mind is never bound to it. So when our mindfulness concentration stronger and stronger, the attachment to sensual pleasure become weaker and weaker. Actually, sensual pleasure are kind of fatal pleasure. It's a deadly pleasure and a poisonous pleasure. Because of sensual pleasure, people, their life becomes jeopardized. Attachment to sensual pleasure damage or destroys our lives, more or less. So this sensual pleasure or attachment to sensual pleasure is something fatal or deadly and poisonous. So we have to overcome these sensual pleasure through the Vipassana insight. With the stronger concentration and mindfulness, we experience the Vipassana insight. And then the Buddha said, our faith and confidence in the practice gets stronger and stronger. Our physical health also becomes better and better. And even our mental attitude or mental state becomes straightforward. And we become someone trustworthy, or we become very honored. We are ready to admit whatever mistake we made. We have no more boastful or no more hypocritic. We become straightforward and we become honest. No more hypocritic. So to reach this state, we have to make 3 stages of courageous heroic effort. Initial effort, and progressive effort, and culminating effort. So through these 3 stages of courageous effort, we can experience Vipassana pleasure, which is much beyond the human sensual pleasure. So at this stage, Vipassana insight is quite mature. If we keep on making great effort in the practice, we can even become fully enlightened in this very life. So to develop this stage of Vipassana insight, it take not much time. If you are young and courageous, healthy, and follow strictly the advice given by the teacher, you can make remarkable progress even within a few weeks or 2 or 3 weeks. So at this stage of Vipassana insight, yogi will be able to appreciate the quality of Dhamma, Swakato. Swakato means the Dhamma is well expounded by the Buddha. The yogi practice and he or she experience the Dhamma, that is the benefit, in a concurrent manner, in a consistent manner. Then there will be no doubt about the Dhamma, and then he will be able to appreciate the quality of the Buddha. The faith and the confidence in the Buddha will develop. Mostly the people of today, or even the Asian or Westerner, they always hesitate to accept the Buddha's qualities because they think it is a kind of personal worship or the personal devotion. So they really hesitate to accept, to recollect qualities of the Buddha. Even though they used to be hesitate, when they experience the Dhamma They cannot stop the worshipping the Buddha. They cannot stop the faith and confidence in the Buddha. So their faith and confidence in the Buddha is increased by itself on their own accord. Then they will realize, they will appreciate the qualities of the Buddha and the Dhamma. So in this way, the yogi can develop Vipassana insight step by step or stage by stage. Actually, there are many more things to explain about this fact. But today is no more time. That's all for today. Sadhu.